What we want to show you here today is some of the do's and don'ts with fishing rods, and hopefully help everyone out there to damage or break less rods, and show you what they can do and what they can't do. I've got here a typical fiberglass composite rod. It's a solid fiberglass tip section. It's a really robust design, incredibly flexible tip section, which is what a lot of people like about them, and very, very hard to break. And you'll see that I can put a really significant bend into the tip section of that rod, and it does no damage whatsoever to it. The downside to this is that when people graduate to their first graphite rod, they tend to treat it the same and not quite understand the differences between graphite and fiberglass. Graphite rods, when loaded correctly, and we're going to show you how to do that in just a moment, have some incredible power, incredible pulling power. They cast weights, whether they be lures or baits, far better than fiberglass does. But the one thing graphite's not great at is doing a tight turn and a tight corner. And a lot of people will grab a graphite rod like this, even heaven help, in tackle stores, and the first thing they want to do is test the tip. But when I do try to do a tight turn like I did with that glass rod before, bang, we've got a snap. Why did it snap? Is graphite weaker than fiberglass? Is it not as good as fiberglass? No, it's just not as good at doing a really tight turn like that fiberglass is. The upside, of course, is the benefits of graphite far outweigh what the fiberglass rod can do. So when it comes to our casting, responsiveness through the blank, sensitivity, etc., we have huge benefits. It's really, really light. The graphite rod weighs a lot less than the fiberglass rod does, and of course it's got enormous pulling power when it's loaded correctly, and we're going to show you the differences right now. We've got an old reel foot mounted into the rod. We've got a scale there, and we've got a really heavy bit of blind cord, and that's going to be able to show us in kilos what our rod is capable of pulling. This is the exact same rod that I broke minutes earlier, and we're going to show you just what it can do when it's loaded correctly. Now Andrew's going to actually load this rod down at 30 to 45 degree angle. You see him loading that rod nice and hard down there like that. On my scale I'm going to, I can pull 4 kilos of drag over that rod quite safely at the right angle. Now that's using the whole butt section of the rod. It's flattening out the tip section, and it's using the bottom end of the rod, which is where all the power is and where all the lifting capabilities of that rod come, but we're not putting that rod through any tight curve whatsoever. It's loaded right down into my hand, and we're in no danger of breaking it at this point. And now what I'm going to show you next is a really common thing, especially when people are fishing from boats or fishing from rocks or anywhere that's elevated up from the water, and it's one of those things where the heat of the moment, the fish is underneath the boat, it's right next to you. It doesn't have to be a big fish, it doesn't have to be a tuna or a kingfish, it can just simply be a small brim that's been caught somewhere in your local river, and the excitement, people want that fish in the boat, and they tend to lift the rod higher and higher and higher, trying to get that fish into the boat at that last minute. And we're going to show you just how detrimental that can be. Okay. Now, people get themselves into this situation where the rod's held nice and high like that. The fish is underneath you. You want that fish in the boat. You're getting excited, so you're pulling harder and higher all the time. Now, if I look down at my scale, I'm currently reading half a kilo. Now, Andrew is going to come closer to me and start pulling down on that rod. And right now, there's no pressure in my hands. Stop there. No pressure in my hand whatsoever. I'm holding that rod there with one finger. There's no actual load on the rod itself. I'm not hurting the fish. I'm not pulling on that fish whatsoever. All that's happening is that we're overloading the tip section of the rod, and I'm achieving nothing in regard to getting that fish in the boat. And the worst case scenario right now is the fish goes for a dive. He's seen the boat, he doesn't want to come in. Fish goes for a dive like Andrew's about to go, and we're going to watch what happens to the tip section of that rod. There we go. We've ended up with a poor old rod in 3 sections. We've lost the fish most likely, and we're going to have a big sob story to tell someone at the end of the day.